Will be clarity-seeking questions at this stage, I take. Yes? Let me just check. Amo, where's Amos? To roll with the mic so we can...
Yes, SABC from Eyewitness News.
We've already intervened. We've intervened.
Yes, I just want to ask the SG, will you be delivering both the SG and the Treasury General reports, considering that you obviously play both roles? And I just want to ask, also my second question is, I know that you're going to be sort of processing the complaints from the nominations before they're heard by different committees. Is there no sort of contradiction that you're also a candidate? So you know, how are you going to sort of maneuver that process in like a safe way where there's no perceived bias? Yes.
I couldn't quite hear the last part.
Disputes.
What about disputes? How are managing disputes? Okay. Oh, okay.
Can we just get them to all ask?
Yeah.
Okay, we can take all the questions, then the TG can deal with all of them once done.
Samkela from the SABC. Mr. Mashatile, there's been some videos circulating, particularly from Limpopo, with some of your branches claiming and saying that the QR scanners were being abused for the branch general meetings. We've got the videos of people's IDs being scanned in people's vehicles for the branches, basically saying there's a loophole in your new system that has been opened up for manipulation for the branches to sit, particularly in many provinces across the country. Secondly, there were litigation issues in the RWC Khubusane region in the Eastern Cape that led to a court verdict nullifying that regional conference. There's another court case that you've been cited on Monday of the Josiah Kumete region in KwaZulu-Natal. The implications those regional conferences of Josiah Kumete in KwaZulu-Natal and RWC Khubusane could have on the provincial conferences of both those provinces and ultimately culminating to the national conference, could it also hamper you in your preparation for the December elective conference? In essence, are you anticipating any litigation going towards this conference? Thirdly, your suspended Secretary General was meant to appear before the National Disciplinary Committee on Monday. What processes are you taking in that regard in his refusal to appear before the NDC of the party? And then lastly, on the issues pertaining to the elections of the top six, are you going to be electing the top six on the first day of conference? How is it going to work? Have you fully adopted the Electoral Committee's recommendations that you first elect 3 of the officials, then you go back, you look at gender parity, and then you re-elect again? Did you adopt that recommendation by the Kgalema Motlanthe Committee as is? Thank you.
Avemtila from ANC. I just wanted clarity on what's going to happen to the provinces that are yet to hold their provincial conferences, and who's going to, I don't know if this has been asked, but who's going to address the SGO's report? Is it the suspended Secretary General, or who's going to address that?
Silver Sevilla from UFM. I just want to find out from you, do you think out of this conference will come out with a female president, which is dominated by mostly men who have been nominated in that position?
Thank you. Shweshwe from Talk Radio 702. TG, earlier on when we were doing the walkabout, you said the conference will certainly go ahead. Were there any, and you said you will tell us now if why you said that, were there any reasons why the conference wouldn't go ahead? If you could please then just honor that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mawande from the Sunday Times. Just perhaps to add on Samgele's first question on the issue of scanners. Even the former President Jacob Zuma, in his memorial lecture last Sunday, he raised this issue of the scanners. He went on to say that in his view, it is a way, in fact, it achieves what it was, an antithesis of what it was meant for, in that it actually allows for manipulation of processes. From where you stand, Tichi, do you think there's any truth to those claims by former President Zuma?
Lisa Gatana, Mail and Guardian. Tichi, just
two small questions from me. One is on the agenda of the NEC meeting. Can you just take us through what exactly will be discussed in terms of your agenda for tomorrow's meeting? And how long is that meeting meant to last? Is it going to last until Friday or the duration of the weekend? And also the process moving from now. The Electoral Committee is supposed to take over, I would imagine, but what exactly happens in terms of the process moving from now? How many, Bula did say in the last media briefing that you'd reached your 70% threshold, but in terms of the qualified branches, can you just give us an understanding of how many, in terms of how many provinces and how many branches in those provinces were able to qualify?
All right. Okay, I thought we'd take this side, and then when we move this side, we know we are now finishing.
Kotatu Marisa at the Sunday Times as well. I just wanted clarity perhaps on the processes of conference. So there's issues of constitutional amendments, the discussions on step aside. So should conference adopt perhaps that it scraps step aside, do you immediately action that, and those who have been affected, do they participate in this conference immediately, or does it wait until the conference is closed? As well as the constitutional amendments. I mean, for instance, there's a proposal to have a second Deputy Secretary General. If that is adopted, is it actioned in this conference as well? Just wanted that clarity. Thank you.
Peter Mulamano from KFM, TG. TG, are you happy currently with regard to the campaigns of the candidates? And then secondly, what measures are there in place to make sure that delegates don't buy votes? Thank you.
Okay. Then we come this side, and then we... Oh, do you have a hand? Okay.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Lucanio Thalata from Newsroom Africa. TG, I understand that I think on the 11th is going to be the deadline for all of the nominees to submit, their finance records and those kinds of things. Are you confident that deadline is going to be met? And also, what happens to some of those that are nominated that do not meet the deadline to submit all of their financial records that were, and their donations, of course, that were spent on their campaigns? And then just finally, we understand that the report by the Integrity Commission is likely to be tabled before the NEC this weekend on President Cyril Ramaphosa's meetings with the Integrity Commission on the Phala matter. Can you confirm that that is indeed one of the agenda items for the NEC meeting this week? Thank you very much. Sir.
Okay, that was the last question.
Okay.
So that was the last question. So the TG will deal with all the questions, but we'll still be interacting even beyond this. So you don't have to kill everything today.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take the first bite, and then Comrade Gwen and Pula can come in. Because of the load of work that I'm dealing with at the moment, the officials have agreed that the Deputy President should come in to assist. So the way we'll do it, once the President has delivered the political report, the Deputy President will deliver the Secretary General report, which is essentially your organizational report, and I'll do the Treasurer's report, and the National Chair will chair. So it's division of labor, it's the four of us. You get it, right? The National Chair will chair, President will deliver political report, Deputy President organizational report, Treasurer General the Treasurer's report. So the main reports will be done that way. So we've now brought in the Deputy President to work with me and Comrade Gwen and the team as we prepare the organizational report. There was a question about disputes. What we normally do when there are disputes, they don't necessarily come to the SGO. We have created what we call the NDRC, National Dispute Resolution Committee, headed by Comrade Mdu Manana. So the disputes go there to be dealt with, but it's mainly appeals, because what happens is that in the provinces you've got provincial dispute resolution committees. So we encourage branches, deal with your dispute firstly in the branch. If you are not satisfied, go a step higher to the province. If you're not satisfied, appeal to national. So far, by last week, we had dealt with 84 disputes. The NDRC managed to resolve most of them. I think by Monday, they were left with 4. But because we had not closed, it's possible that we may have disputes coming as a result of last weekend, but they will be dealt with. The plan is to deal with all disputes before the conference starts, so that we don't get to conference and branches or delegates are raising disputes. The scanning of IDs in a car, somebody did send me a video like that yesterday, but they told me it's the Free State, not Limpopo. So what we have done, we've set up a team to quickly go and investigate that incident. So we'll be able to know if there was some fraudulent activity taking place. Will we have litigation? We work in anticipation that it is possible. And the reason why we took long with the BGM was to ensure that we cross all the dots. We follow the rules so that tomorrow nobody must say this was not done. So from where we sit, we think that we have run all the BGMs properly, but you never know. There may be people who are still aggrieved who may want to go to court, so we'll have to deal with that. I've heard this story about the SG not appearing before the disciplinary committee, but no report has come to me. So I'll still await the report of what's happening there. Will the NEC be dominated by men? I think hardly, because remember there is already a provision in the Constitution, Rule 6, that the NEC must have no less than 50% women. And we keep to that, and the Electoral Commission will keep to that. Why did I say conference will go ahead? I said conference will go ahead because we have now reached a milestone. We have gone beyond 70% that is required. We are sitting today at 85%, could be higher. And all logistics are now in place. We have seen you have seen the venue is in order. We have booked all the hotels that we require for delegates when they come. We have booked all the buses for delegates that will use buses to come to conference. The organizational report will be presented to the NEC this weekend for adoption. The